Good evening, Bulldog fans. Welcome to Pinckneyville High School. It is the sectional championship here in the Pinckneyville 2A sectional, and the Carmi White County Lady Bulldogs are set to face off against the Fairfield Lady Mules. Cole Carter with you, Whitney Carter with us tonight, running the camera. For those of you watching on the WRUL Sports YouTube channel, happy to be here tonight to broadcast this volleyball game, arguably the biggest volleyball matchup in Carmi White County High School history. The Lady Bulldogs back on Monday won their first ever sectional match, taking down Massac County in 2 sets, 25-7, 25-20. Fairfield was able to sneak past Pinckneyville in the semifinals back on Monday to set us up where we are tonight. This is the third matchup between these two teams this season. Fairfield has won both matchups by 3 sets when they met in Carmi earlier in the year, and they beat Carmi in 2 sets the second time in Fairfield. Both teams lining up for the national anthem. We will step aside. First serve between Carmi and Fairfield coming up momentarily. Welcome back to Pinckneyville. Getting set for the 2A sectional championship. Carmi White County and Fairfield for the third time this year. Lady Bulldogs hoping the third time is the charm. Cole Carter with you, Whitney Carter running the camera tonight. Happy you could join us this evening. Carmi comes into this match 31-7 on the year. Fairfield 35-3. As the Carmi student section making their way into the gymnasium. Expect a big crowd for both sides and what's going to be a fantastic matchup. So obviously when you talk about Fairfield, you can't mention them without mentioning Emerson Robbins. She's going to play volleyball at Utah State next year, the senior. I think currently she is second on the IHSA all-time list in career kills. And in the first matchup between these two teams in Carmi last month, she was dominant. And so Carmi, without question, the big key is to find a way to stop her. They're announcing the Carmi starting lineups. And they will go with number 3, Addie Elliott. She is a sophomore, as well as number 2, Jaya Smith, a sophomore. Toy Ryder, our number 13 sophomore as well. Caroline Simmons, who has had an outstanding season and career as just a sophomore. broke the school record for most kills in a single match in the regional championship last Thursday against Newton. Also, number 21, Lauren Brzezinski, she is a junior who surpassed the 1,000 career assist mark on senior night a couple of weeks ago. Number 22, Ashlyn Rager, she's a junior. The lone senior, number 14, Mara Serafini, and the libero, number 20, that is Riley Roark, for the Lady Bulldogs, who are coached by Chris Lucas and Jamie Brzezinski. So again, the Lady Bulldogs looking for their first sectional championship in school history. Fairfield last won one in 2019. We've talked to Coach Lucas about this team in the past and what Chet Snyder has done. Fairfield's head coach has turned this program around and really start a dynasty. They have been dominant not just this season. You've had 4 years of Robbins, which definitely helps. But there's no question these are two of the top programs in Southern Illinois. And one of these two teams will move on to the Super Sectional on Friday night in Robinson. Of course, if Carmi wins tonight, we will bring that one for you Friday in Robinson, which will be the Super Sectional winner of that game, goes to the Final Four in the state tournament. So they're announcing the Fairfield starting lineup. It will be number 12, Corey Sutton. She is a junior. As well as number 8, that's Gracie Atwood. Also number 17, Kinsey Turner. Number 14, Ava Best, along with 22, Lainey Clark. Number 15, Catherine Newman. She is a junior. Number 10, Riley Edwards. And of course, the aforementioned number 9, Emerson Robbins. Their libero is number 3, Mabry Ellis. The starting lineups for both teams for the sectional championship matchup. Fairfield coached by Chet Snyder and Yvette Combs. Also show some love for the athletic trainers for both teams. For Carmi, Bennett Richter, and for Fairfield, Sarah Turner. Great crowd on hand, both on the Carmi student section and the Fairfield student section. And the winner moves on to the Super Sectional Friday night in Robinson. Carmi earlier this year broke the school record for the most wins in a single season. That was after a 4-1 performance at the Fairfield tournament last Saturday, or correction, 2 Saturdays ago. They've added to it, won 2 games in Lawrenceville Regional, won the semifinal here on Monday, and here we are. Carmi's won a handful of regionals in the past. They won one 2 years ago, got to the sectional, couldn't win in the semifinals. It had been 42 years prior to that before they won a regional. But no question tonight, the biggest match in Carmi White County volleyball history, and glad that those of you that are joining us can do so on the WRUL Sports YouTube channel. So we are ready to rock and roll. So I believe Carmi will serve first. And as both teams getting there, libero is in the ball game. And we will get ready to rock and roll. Fairfield 35-3 on the year. They're going to serve first. Carmi White County 31-7. We are underway. The sectional championship here in Pinckneyville. And Addie Elliott bumps into the air. Brzezinski goes to Rager. That one blocked, but saved by Robbins in the back row. Getting it over is Atwood, saved by Serafini. Carmi now with the free ball. Simmons up top. Robbins able to save it. You're going to see a lot of this tonight. That one in the back row. And they say out is the call. Carmi gets the point. Now the official changes the call. Chris Lucas not too happy about it. But we're going to see a lot of that. Neither of these two teams let the ball hit the ground very often, which is why here they are playing in a sectional championship. Carmi with the return. Serafini gets it over, blocked in the net by Edwards. 2-0 Fairfield. Just bear with me here on announcing and keeping the score at the same time. 2-0 Fairfield, and the serve by Best. Return by Roark. Now it's Brzezinski. Serafini gets it over. They set up. Elliott gets that one. Now it's Roark up. Simmons who bumps it over. Trying to set up Turner, who puts it, but Carmi able to return. That was Serafini. Now Elliott. Now Rager gets it over in the dead spot, and Carmi gets on the board. It's 2-1. Ashlyn Rager, the junior. Of course, Carmi, a lot of depth coming back next year. Mara Serafini, the lone senior, and Serafini with the long serve. 3-1 Fairfield here in the first set. So a quick sub made here for the Lady Mules as Lainey Clark will check back in. Now the libero Ellis to serve. 3-1 Fairfield. As Elliott couldn't get a good angle on that one. 4-1 Fairfield. And what we saw the 2 times these 2 teams met. First matchup in Carmine, neither team was able to really run away. 3 very close sets, but in the second matchup, it was all Fairfield. And of course, Fairfield playing their best ball right now. There's Caroline Simmons trying to get one over, and then Edwards puts it back, and Carmi can't return. 5-1 Fairfield here in the first set, and Chris Lucas is forced to burn a timeout. And we will take one as well as Fairfield hangs on to a 5-1 lead here in the first set. After a Chris Lucas timeout, Fairfield maintains the serve and a 5-1 lead here in the first set. Of course, first to win 3 sets. All 3 sets will go to 25. Brzezinski sets up Simmons. That one blocked, but out of bounds. So Carmi will get the point. Makes it 5-2. Well, you can imagine some jitters, some nervousness from these girls. They've played in their fair share of big games this season, including this third matchup here with Fairfield. That one hit in the air by Serafini on the return by Clark. Now it's Brzezinski who gets it over. They set up, trying to go to Robbins in the back row, and not much you can do about that. 6-2 Fairfield as the legend of Emerson Robbins continues. And that's from the back row. 6-2 Mules. As Sutton will serve this one the other way. Return by Serafini. Now it's Brzezinski up to Simmons. That one saved, but it will go out of bounds. Sutton could have returned it inbounds. Carmi gets the point back, cuts it in half, 6-3. Still waiting for Carmi to kind of get their rhythm. It will be Brzezinski serving away, and she'll get a point there. Makes it 6-4. As there was a sub in the game there during that break, Jaya Smith checked in for the Lady Bulldogs. Brzezinski serve once again. Return by Best. Now Edwards over to Robbins. That was an impressive pass set up there by Best. Almost like an alley-oop dunk is what it's like in fast break. And Robbins there for the kill, and Fairfield now leads 7-3. Edwards will serve for the Lady Mules. Edwards gets it over. Now it's Smith. Up to Brzezinski. Back to Smith. That one out. You could tell Jaya didn't get great contact on it out of the hand. and it goes out of bounds, making it 8-4 Fairfield. Still here in the first set. Edwards gets it over. Smith, now Brzezinski, leaves it up for Simmons, hits it over. Robbins, back to Robbins, tips it, that one is in. Fairfield gets the point. 9-4 Lady Mules. (9-4) Fairfield. Edwards gets it over. Smith. Now it's Brzezinski over to Simmons near side. Save there by Ellis. They set up Robbins on the far side. And again, so hard to defend, and Emerson Robbins. Early work here against Carmi. 10-4 Lady Mules as they're on a 4-0 run. Edwards gets it over once again. Now it's Smith. Brzezinski up in the air. Smith gets it back over. Saved there by Edwards. Setting up for Robbins at the other end. Brzezinski gets it back over. Robbins at the net. Over the top, out of bounds. Too far. And Carmi finally able to get the ball back. 10-5, Lady Mules in front. So Caroline Simmons now to serve. Simmons tries to attack the near open spot and just missed it. Goes out of bounds. So obviously in any sort of game like this, in any sport, mistakes have got to be at a minimum. Carmi has had a couple of those here in the early going. 11-5 Mules here in the opening set. Brzezinski at the net, up for Smith, and got rejected by the net. There was an opening. If she got it over, it would have been in. But it's 12-5 now, a 7-point Lady Mule advantage. Bass gets it over, Serafini. Now it's Brzezinski back to Serafini. Mara taps it and saved by Edwards, and Fairfield gets it over. Roark, now Brzezinski backside for Smith, tipped, and that one will hit the ground. Carmi gets a point, it's 12-6. That was a fantastic save by Edwards, or a dig. So Carmi gets it back down 6, 12-6 here in the first set. Winner moves on to Friday night's Super Sectional up in Robinson. Paige Jackson with the serve. Fairfield on the return, they can't get it. This is what Carmi needs, just a little bit of a run. You can hear the student section over down to our right, dressed up in their construction gear. As the high school was nice enough to give them a fan bus to make it here tonight. And they're served by Jackson. Fairfield with the return. Robbins at the other end, that one is in. 13-7 Fairfield. Now we mentioned that neither of these two teams, the first time they met, really could run away, could get that big lead and get the win. But right now, Carmi has hung around this 6 to 7 point deficit. They got to make a little bit of a run of their own. But of course, still just here in the first set. Roark gets it to Brzezinski. Now it's Serafini who gets it over. Edwards setting up for Robbins in the back row, blocked by Rager. Second chance here for Fairfield at the other end. That one's in. I couldn't get, Riley Roark couldn't get to it. 14-7 Lady Mules. That kill goes to Edwards. 14-7 Fairfield. Here in the first set. Served by Robbins. Dug by Simmons. Now Brzezinski. Rager. That one too far. And Chris Lucas will burn a timeout. Lady Mules looking good early on. They lead it 15-7. We'll step aside. still waiting on the Lady Bulldogs to wake up here in this first set, as it's been all Fairfield for the most part. 15-7, Lady Mules lead it here in the first set. Cole Carter with you here in Pinckneyville alongside Whitney Carter. Appreciate the 167 of you watching, or 176 of you watching on the WRUL Sports YouTube channel. Emerson Robbins still serving here for the Lady Mules. That one barely over. Smith gets it now. Brzezinski. Rager tries to kill one, and it's sent back. That was Turner with the block, and it's 16-7 Mules. Nine-point Lady Mule advantage. Robbins still serving. She gets it over. O'Rourke with the dig. Now it's Simmons. Leaves it up for Serafini, who gets it over. That one's sent up by Ellis, who then Edwards taps it over. 17-7, a 10-point Lady Mule advantage. Chris Lucas, arms folded. Not too pleased with how things have gone here in the first set. Been all Fairfield. A lot like how the second matchup of these two teams went, like in Fairfield. Brzezinski sets it up. Rager met by the net. 18-7. Robbins to serve. She gets it over. Saved there by Smith. Now it's Brzezinski up for Serafini. Met at the net, but Rager able to keep it alive. Now Edwards taps it over. Roark to Brzezinski. Near side. Serafini down the line. We'll see if that can spark the Lady Bulldogs. 18-8 on a nice kill by the senior Mara Serafini. Trying to make sure it's not her last volleyball match of her career. Addie Elliott serves it away for Carmi. Saved by Best. They set up Robbins in the back row. That one in. Front row, back row, doesn't matter. It is so hard to stop number 9. 19-8, Lady Mules. Best gets it over. Roark as Simmons bumped into Roark, but Carmi still able to get it over with Serafini. Now it's Best, leaving it near side for Edwards, and they're going to give the point to Carmi. Couldn't tell if Edwards hit the net or if she didn't get it over. Either way, Carmi gets the point. It's 19-9. Carmi trying to hang around, but they need a run here in the first set, and that's not going to help as the serve goes out of bounds. Too far, 20-9. Now it's the libero Ellis in the back serving for the Lady Mules. Serafini sets. Brzezinski. Near side Simmons. That one in. Got blocked initially at the net. Able to hit the hardwood. Carmi back within 10 at 20-10. The Lady Bulldogs just looking for that one run. And granted, that's hard to get against this team. One of the top-ranked teams in all of Illinois 2A. Edwards tips it over and finds the Bermuda Triangle right in the middle of all 6 Lady Bulldogs. And Fairfield's 4 points away from an opening set win, 21-10. We can look at this two ways. Look at it as if, okay, Fairfield's going to run away with this, or second set being a new opportunity. Roark with the bump. Near side, Simmons gets that one in. Nice kill on the back line there for Caroline Simmons. Carmi back within 10 at 21-11. Warren Brzezinski with the serve. Comes near side, set by Best. Edwards trying to find the spot out. Carmi gets the point. That one near the line, right in front of Chris Lucas. That's the first time in a while Carmi has got consecutive points. Back within 9 at 21-12. Brzezinski. Pass now. Edwards sets up Turner who gets it in. Correction, that was Clark. Laney Clark able to find the open area. And the lead back up to 10 for the Lady Mules at 22-12. Edwards to serve. Gets it over. Now it's Roark who got the set. Now it's Edwards. After Simmons got it over. Robbins, that one got tipped. Serafini able to keep it alive. Now it's Simmons and hit over by Brzezinski. Going near side to Best. Met by the net. Point for Carmi. 22-13. Caroline Simmons will do the honors. That one too far. Another serve for the Lady Bulldogs. It has been too long. Just uncharacteristic mistakes. So Newman into the game to serve for the Lady Mules. Her first action. Set up by Serafini. Brzezinski back to Serafini. Met at the net. There by Best. Carmi on the return. As Tori Ryder, who's checked in, gets that one over. And then coming over the top for the kill, Kinsey Turner. Fairfield's 1 point away from taking the first set. (24-13) Fairfield. With Newman to get it over. Brzezinski, near side Serafini, that one blocked, and Carmi not dead yet here in the first set. 24-14. Well, they got to get that run now if they want it. Needing 11 straight at least, 12 straight to win this first set, but with the way Fairfield has played, that will be incredibly tough to do. It's been all Lady Mules here in the first set, 24-14. Clark, that one tapped over by Smith and hit out of bounds. 24-15. Paige Jackson doing the serving for the Lady Bulldogs. 24-15 Fairfield. Jackson gets it over, hit up by Ellis. They go near side to Robbins. She hits it into the net. 3 straight points for Carmi. 24-16. He'll take this run, better late than never. Jackson gets it over. That one's in. 24-17. Carmi not going away. And the way you can look at this, even if Carmi can't make the comeback to win this set, the way momentum is shifting at the end of the set has got to be good for set number 2. As Paige Jackson serves it over, and that will end set number 1. All Fairfield early on. Carmi looked a little bit better there at the end, but still more volleyball to play here in the sectional championship, the 2A sectional championship here in Pinckneyville. We'll step aside. Set 2 coming up next right here on the WRUL Sports YouTube channel. Carmi student section trying to fire up the Lady Bulldogs as Fairfield takes set number 1, 25-17. As Carmi did look a little bit better. They pulled off 4 straight points at the end of that first set. But obviously, when you face this Fairfield team, you're going to have your hands full. Robbins has been dominant, but the girls around her have done really well, also putting her in spots to get the kills that she's gotten tonight. That has been their mantra all season long. You can tell Carmi looks to have a little more pep in their step in the last few minutes. Definitely slept walk a little bit there in the first set, but here we are underway in set number 2. Edwards gets it over. Brzezinski returns. Now it's Simmons gets it up in the air. Rager puts it down, and Carmi strikes first. Obviously, you can't get set 1 back, but there's a reason why you played a 3. 1-0 Lady Bulldogs. Rager with the serve, now on the return. Robbins from the back row. My goodness. 1-1. If you have not had the chance to watch this Emerson Robbins girl play in person, this YouTube stream does not do diligence. Very impressive. 1-1. Ellis will serve it away. Dug by Serafini, now comes near side with Simmons on the assist from Brzezinski. Now at the top, too far. That time was Atwood going for the kill. Too far, 2-1 Carmi. Mentioned that Carmi made a handful of too many mistakes there in the first set. Fairfield didn't really make any. Carmi's got to take advantage of those Fairfield mistakes. They want to have a chance to win this one. They go near side for Atwood. That one in on the back line. Evens it up at 2. Fairfield makes a sub as Newman checks in. 2-2 the score here in set number 2. Newman gets it over. Serafini, Brzezinski near side comes to Simmons, and they're going to call a net against Fairfield. So Carmi gets the point. Simmons went up and was met at the net. Violation goes against the Lady Mills, so the point goes to Carmi. Both teams back and forth. This is a little more of what we expected. Here on the return as Best falls down. Behind the back goes to Robbins, and Carmi can't return. That is twice now that Riley Edwards has hit it behind the head and put it in a perfect spot for Robbins. That time Robbins went with the tap, and it worked just as well. 3-3 your score here in set number 2. Edwards gets it over. Smith, now it's Brzezinski, near side to Simmons. That one almost hit the ground, but saved by Ellis. Now it's Robbins far side, met by the net, 4-3. Carmi now looking like the team that we saw win 31 games this year. A little bit of a sluggish start. Got behind early in the first set, but leading the second set here 4-3. On the return, it's Smith. Leaves it up near side for Serafini. In for the point. 5-3 Carmi. Fairfield fans a little quieter than they were there in that first set. Again, both student sections come in full force. Simmons gets it over. Now it's Newman. Edwards setting up Robbins right into the arms of Caroline Simmons, but good luck. Robbins gets the point. It's 5-4. I would compare that to trying to catch a baseball off the bat with no glove. Just good luck. 5-4 Lady Bulldogs. The serve there from Sutton. Carmi able to get it over. They set it up. And killing it that time was Kinsey Turner, tied the game at 5. 5-5 your score here in set number 2. Turner gets it over, and a call violation against Carmi. Now here's where my lack of volleyball knowledge comes into play. Gonna look at the wife. You know what happened there? As she shakes her head. All right, 6-5. As Fairfield reclaims the lead. Much more competitive second set. It was all Lady Mules in the first, and that serve there by Turner out of bounds. So Carmi able to answer and tie it back up at 6. And still just looking for that run by Carmi. They had it at the end of the first set, but obviously down by 10 when they got it. A little bit of too little, too late. Really need one here in the second set to spark that momentum. Paige Jackson to serve. She gets it over. Ellis leaves it for Edwards. Behind the back to Robbins again. Set up by Simmons. Now it's Brzezinski. Near side Serafini. Cross court. Gets it over to Robbins. Back to Robbins on the set. Carmi able to keep it alive. Rager met her at the net. Newman hits it up in the air. That one behind the backboard. Ellis keeps it alive. Fairfield somehow gets that one over. Brzezinski sets up for Rager, and the block by Robbins. Got to tip your cap on that. Fairfield retakes the lead 7-6. Mabry Ellis ran here near side, out of bounds, behind the basket, and was able to keep that one in play. Fairfield able to get it over without going over 4 hits. 7-6 Lady Mules. Here in the second set, Fairfield took the first set. As the official at the scores table, pausing play for a second, we resume. Robbins to serve. Simmons sets it up. Brzezinski, now Serafini. Blocked initially. Fairfield maintains it as Edwards gets it over. Now it's Smith setting up for Serafini. Tries to go cross court, too far. 8-6 Lady Mules. Eight-6 your score. Robbins gets it over. That one too far. So again, Fairfield does not make many mistakes, but you got to take advantage when they do, as Addie Elliott will come in. Jaya Smith will come out. 8-7 your score. Lady Mules with the lead here in set number 2. Elliott gets it over. Set up by Edwards. Cross court, now it's Roark who returns it. Brzezinski near side to Serafini. That one tipped and saved by Edwards. Now they set it up. Robbins from the back row comes in, and Elliott cannot return. 9-7 Fairfield. Lady Mules. Served by Best. Brzezinski, now Rager, who able to find the far corner. Tips it in. Carmi back within 1 at 9-8. So a kill in favor of the junior Rager. And now Mara Serafini will serve. Ellis bumps it up. Best comes over to set up Robbins, who gets it over. Serafini, now Brzezinski. Near side, Simmons, blocked, out of bounds. Point Carmi. Ties it up at 9. Served by Serafini. Ellis, now Best. On the far side, Sutton able to get it over. Just barely. Carmi tried to block it at the net, and it rolls over. Lady Mules back in front, 10-9. And it's Mabry Ellis to serve. Ellis gets it over. Elliott. Brzezinski right at the net with Edwards, and goes in favor of Fairfield. Tough position for the junior Brzezinski. Now 11-9 Fairfield. Ellis gets it over. Roark, now Brzezinski. Simmons over the top. It was out, but they're going to say Fairfield hit the net, so the point goes over to Carmi. Makes it 11-10. Carmi hanging around here in set number 2. Fell in set 1, 25-17. Riley Roark to serve, the libero. Gets it over, that one hit up by Sutton. Now Ellis on the back line, hit over by Edwards. Brzezinski setting up Simmons, blocked out of bounds, point Carmi. We are tied at 11. This is starting to look a lot more like the first matchup between these two teams. Roark serves it over. They go on the far side to Clark. Hit over by Edwards. Now it's Elliott. Brzezinski comes near side to Simmons, and Ellis can't return it. Point Lady Bulldogs, lead Lady Bulldogs at 11, 12-11. As Caroline Simmons does it again. And so here the Carmi faithful starting to make some noise. Can they make a run? We've been waiting for it. Served by Roark. Sutton with the dig. Now on the far side, it's Robbins, and that time Serafini didn't get low enough and hit it right into the ground. 12-12. Served by Newman. Returned by, that was Serafini, now Simmons near side, dug by Newman. Best leaves it up for Clark. Returned by Serafini, now Brzezinski. Simmons taps it over. Almost found a spot, but Edwards able to return on the dig by Robbins. Now it's Tori Ryder who finds a spot. Carmi reclaims the lead. 13-12 Lady Bulldogs here in set number 2. Lauren Brzezinski to serve it. And Ellis hits it. Robbins, Best can't get it over. 14-12 Lady Bulldogs. Timeout, Fairfield. And Carmi has woken up. Lady Bulldogs lead by 2, 14-12. We'll step aside. Carmi has looked like a different team here in set number 2. They lead Fairfield 14-12 here in the Pinckneyville 2A Sectional Championship. Winner moves on to the Super Sectional in Robinson on Friday. Lauren Brzezinski with the serve, set up by Edwards. Robbins blocked at the net. Tori Ryder. Carmi by 3, 15-12. Or correction, it was Jaya Smith, excuse me. Jaya Smith met Robbins at the net. 15-12 Lady Bulldogs. Best with the return. And they're going to get Carmi on the violation as Edwards got it over and Simmons was in a really tough spot. And the point goes over to Fairfield, 15-13. Again, Fairfield took the first set 25-17. Edwards gets it over. Serafini up to Brzezinski. Comes near side to Simmons. In! 16-13 Lady Bulldogs. And now Simmons will serve. Gets it over. Ellis digs it. Now Edwards leads Robbins, and that one's out over the back line. 4-point Carmi lead at 17-13. Caroline Simmons serves it. Newman sets it up. Robbins far side. Jaya Smith sends it back. 18-13 Lady Bulldogs. Here's the run we've been waiting for. But can Carmi finish it? Simmons to Newman. Edwards gets it over, and Ryder sends it back. Oh, Lady Bulldogs here in the second half of the second set, and Chet Snyder has to call another timeout. Lady Bulldogs by 6 here in set number 2. Lady Bulldogs lead 19-13 here in set number 2 of this 2A sectional championship. Cole Carter with you, Whitney Carter here on the WRUL Sports YouTube channel. The serve by Caroline Simmons. Ellis up in the air. Now it's Robbins, met by Ryder. Brzezinski keeps it up. Now it's Smith, and a violation against Carmi. And the point goes over to Fairfield. Well, Carmi made this run, got this lead. A 6-point lead at one point, 19-13. Can they finish off this second set to bring up a winner-take-all in set 3? Serafini, Brzezinski, back to Serafini, blocked out of bounds. Point Carmi. So Mara will get credit with the kill. Paige Jackson comes in, she'll serve. Carmi needs 5 points to win set 2. Jackson gets it over. They leave it for Turner. Now they come near side, Serafini. Ellis can't get it off the roof. Robbins, nothing. 21-14 Carmi. That was Serafini again with the kill. Jackson gets it over. Set by Newman. Edwards up in the air for Robbins. Too far. Carmi's 3 points away. And they continue to build that largest lead of the night, 22-14. How the tables have turned. Been all Carmi here in the second set. That one out. The far serve from Jackson, or they're going to say Fairfield tipped it. The officials will discuss. They originally said Fairfield tipped it and gave Carmi the point. They retract their statement and say nope, Fairfield point as the serve was out. So it's 22-15. Robbins is back serving. So you don't necessarily have to worry about her in the front row, but we've seen what she can do from the back row. 22-15. Saved by Simmons. Now Brzezinski. Serafini too far out. 22-16. And Chris Lucas will call a timeout, trying to calm his girls down as the Lady Bulldogs still lead it 22-16. We'll step aside for a short break here on the 2A Sectional Championship. 22-16, Lady Bulldogs with the lead, trying to hang on and take set two. Emerson Robbins gets it over. Set up by Smith, now Brzezinski. Comes near side, Serafini sent back. Rager keeps it alive. Now it's Serafini again. Head up in the air by Best. Ellis controls it. Now sent over by Edwards. Brzezinski, Serafini blocked. Now it's Simmons. Back to Brzezinski. Rager wants it. Nice save there by Edwards, up in the air, and Robbins gets it over. Simmons, now Brzezinski again. Serafini. Ellis can't get it. Carmi's 2 points away from sending this to a third set. They lead at 23-16. Addie Elliott will serve. Gets it over, dug out by Best. Now Roberts from the back row. Elliott able to get it over. As they go on the far side, that was Sutton. And too hard as Simmons hits it into the crowd. 23-17. Carmi trying to hang on here for set two. Best gets it over. Now it's to Elliott. Brzezinski up top for Serafini. Far corner, yes! 24-17. And now it's Serafini to serve it. Marr gets it over. Ellis sets it up. Best. Sutton far side. Serafini couldn't get a handle on it. Point Lady Mules. It's 24-18. Ellis to serve. Row arc. Now it's to Rager and Point Lady Mules. Chris Lucas calls a timeout. 24-19 here in set number two. Carmi trying to win it and take us to a winner-take-all third set. We'll step aside. (24-19), Carmi trying to take set two to bring us to a winner-take-all third set. Cole Carter, Whitney Carter with you here at Pinckneyville High School, 2A sectional championship. Ellis' serve, returned by Elliott. Now it's Brzezinski, near side, Simmons, out of bounds. No, they say Fairfield touched it. They say Fairfield tipped it, and Carmi takes the second set. Carmi able to win the second set, 25-19. And we will go to a decisive winner-take-all set number three. Here in the sectional championship game, we'll step aside. Third set coming up next. So here we are, a third and decisive set to determine who gets to go to Robinson this Friday for the sectional championship here in 2A. Cole Carter alongside Whitney Carter working the camera for us. We appreciate the 291 of you watching on the WRUL Sports YouTube channel. It was all Fairfield in the first set, and a different Carmi team came out to win set number 2. It was 25-17 Fairfield in the first set, 25-19 Carmi in the second. And here we go. There's no question momentum is on Carmi's side right now. Can they ride it? Lady Bulldogs looking for the first sectional crown in school history. Roark returns. Brzezinski, Serafini. Saved by Ellis. Sutton up in the air, and Edwards will get it over. Elliott, Brzezinski. Rager wants it. Nice stick by Best, and then returned by Brzezinski. 1-0 Lady Bulldogs. Served by Serafini, too far. It goes out of bounds. So Fairfield able to return at 1-1. Lady Mules last won a sectional back in 2019. They lost in the the super sectional. As that's served by Ellis, I believe that's the first serving error by Fairfield tonight. And it's 2-1. Riley Roark will serve. 2-1 Lady Bulldogs. Roark gets it over. Set up by Ellis. Now Best. Robinson in the back row. Too far. 3-1 Lady Bulldogs. Robbins gets it in. Now it's Best. Near side to Sutton. And too hard. Addie Elliott couldn't handle it. 3-2. Carmi still in front. Lady Mules get the serve back. (3-2) Carmi here in set number 3. Serafini, now it's Brzezinski, near side for Simmons, met at the net. I believe it was Edwards who they'll give credit to, and we're tied at 3. Both Edwards and Clark straight up. They give it to Clark. Sutton will serve. Serafini up in the air, Brzezinski got it in! What a play by Lauren Brzezinski! Of course, such a great passer. That time went with the no look. Got it in. 4-3 Lady Bulldogs. Now Lauren will serve. Best gets it up. Now it's Edwards, far side to Robbins, who's made her way back to the front. That one in. We're tied at 4. Four to 4. Edwards gets it over. Now it's Smith up in the air. Simmons out of bounds, able to get it. Now it's Serafini. Saved by Sutton. Tapping it over is Clark. Set up by Simmons. Miscommunication for Carmi. Simmons able to get it over. Now it's Edwards setting up Robbins far side. Roark digs it out, but Carmi can't return. 5-4 Lady Mules. Edwards the serve. Smith gets it up. Brzezinski near side to Simmons. Simmons gets it down hard, but Ellis hits it out of bounds. 5-5. This going by way of what the second set did early on. It was back and forth for the first 20 points or so until Carmi started to run away. They led by as many as 8 in the second set. Robbins gets it over, saved by Simmons. Now it's Serafini over the top. In! Carmi back in front, 6-5. 6'5" Lady Bulldogs. Simmons with the serve, back line, Sutton hitting out of bounds. Miscommunication, nobody there for Fairfield. The lead is 2 for Carmi. Simmons gets it over. Sutton with the dig. Now Edwards behind the back, and Bess will get it over. Rowart, Brzezinski, near side Serafini, man at the net. Ryder gets it up in the air, now Brzezinski to Simmons. Saved by Ellis. Edwards, Robbins, too far on the back line. Point, Lady Bulldogs, 8-5. Caroline Simmons with the ace. 9-5 Carmi. Timeout Fairfield. Chris Lucas is fired up. He was, trust me. We'll step aside. Nine to 5, Lady Bulldogs lead here in the third set. Caroline Simmons serves it over. Dug by Robbins. Bess gets it over on the far side. Smith, blocked by Robbins, somehow able to keep it alive. And then Ellis, somebody hit the net. Carmi gets the point. Ten to 5, Lady Bulldogs. Simmons just barely missed the back line. That's as close as that's been. And the lead is 4 for the Lady Bulldogs, 10-6. Ten to 6, Lady Bulldogs. Newman to serve. Set up by Serafini. Brzezinski comes in. Serafini over, hit the net. And point goes to Fairfield. Wasn't sure if it hit the net or if it was blocked. Either way, point goes to Lady Mules, and Chris Lucas will call his first timeout here of the third set to talk things over, with Carmi leading it 10-7 here in set number 3. We'll step aside. Ten to 7, Lady Bulldogs lead here in the third decisive set of this 2A sectional championship here in Pinckneyville. Cole Carter and Whitney Carter with you. Newman to serve it over. Out. Service errors have not been relevant for Fairfield until this final set. That's at least the second one. Well, Carmi had that big run around this point during the second set. Can they get it here to build this lead as they lead by 4? Robbins near side, blocked, but it'll reach the Carmi side of the net, so the point goes to Fairfield. I'm going to knock on wood as I say this, but Carmi has done a better job at containing Robbins here in the last set and a half. She was all over the place in the first set. Carmi couldn't stop her. They've done better since, as she's back now serving. 11-8, Carmi leads. Smith up in the air, Brzezinski, Serafini hits it, and it hit the ceiling, took a weird hop. Carmi gets the point. Edwards dug it, but it went straight up, and I believe Bess was going to be there to get it, but when it hit the roof, it changed directions and bounced in Fairfield territory. 12-8 Lady Bulldogs. Robbins, Edwards, that one met. That time was Turner. Brzezinski goes near side, Serafini blocked. Rager keeps it alive. Now it's Serafini. Elliott gets it over. Great job by Carmi. Edwards taps it. Saved by Elliott as her and Simmons collide. Rager tries to find the near corner and missed it. Point goes to Fairfield. 3-point Carmi lead, 12-9. Bess serves it over. Now it's Elliott. Brzezinski up in the air. Serafini near side. Dug by Robbins, and Carmi gets the point. Lead back to 4 at 13-9. You can feel the tension in the gym. Serafini gets it over. Ellis. Best misplaced it. Miscommunication with her and Edwards. Carmi's lead is 5. 10 away from the first sectional championship in school history. Correction, 11 away. I'm not a math guy. Edwards the other end. Brzezinski gets it up. Now it's Elliott to Simmons. Ellis on the return. They set it up. Robbins from the back row. Dug up by Roark. Now Simmons again. Cross court. Too far. Ellis to serve. 14-10 Lady Bulldogs. Ellis gets it over. Bumped up by Roark. Now Brzezinski near side to Simmons. Beautifully placed. Cross court. Caroline Simmons. Carmi by 5. (15-10) Lady Bulldogs here in set number 3. Roark gets it over. Dug up by Atwood. Best, far side for Robbins. Simmons, or correction, Serafini. Now it's Simmons. Blocked to the net. Ryder gets it up in the air. Brzezinski near side to Simmons. Tipped and hit by Robbins. Best, far side, Atwood. Great job by Roark. Now it's Brzezinski. Ellis gets it over. Now it's Ryder. Back to Brzezinski. Simmons near side. Tipped up. Ellis. Best. Atwood. Into the arms of Serafini. Carmi keeps it going, and Caroline Simmons ends it. 16-10 Lady Bulldogs. Timeout. Fairfield. Carmi is 9 points away. Can they finish it? We'll find out. Set 3. Lady Bulldogs 16, Fairfield 10. Momentum in favor of the Lady Bulldogs. Can they capitalize and can they finish? Riley Roark with the serve. Best sets up Edwards, tipped by Ryder, tips it up again, and Elliott gets it over. Edwards backwards to Robbins, tipped up by Ryder. Roark able to get it. Now Brzezinski near side to Simmons. Finds the open area. 17-10. Another kill for the sophomore, Caroline Simmons. Roark gets it over. Ellis up in the air. Far side to Clark. Now Robbins from the back row. Barely gets it over. Simmons up. Brzezinski wants to go back to Simmons. Caroline tries to go cross court, but Atwood saves it. Best sets up Robbins. Tipped by Ryder over the net. Fairfield keeps it alive. Elliott, Brzezinski, near side comes to Caroline Simmons. Atwood hits it out of bounds, but Atwood keeps it, Ellis, then Atwood. And now Carmi on the return. Simmons blocked. Ryder keeps it in the air. Serafini back to Simmons. Now it's Ellis. Best, Atwood. Fairfield wins that one. A heck of a rally. And it's 17-10. About 2 times each that I thought one of the sides got the point. But Fairfield gets it. 6-point Carmi lead, 17-11. Elliott, Brzezinski, near side Simmons. That one tipped, saved up by Sutton. Best goes to get it. Robbins will finish it off. Gets it over. Roark comes up to hit it. Brzezinski sets Simmons, met at the net, and Carmi can't return it. 17-12. Fairfield starting to get a little bit of momentum on their side. 17-12, Lady Bulldogs with the lead. 8 more points is all they need. Sutton serves it over. Elliott, Simmons hits the net. Chris Lucas has to burn a timeout as Fairfield has gotten back within 4. 17-13 here in the third set. Carmi trying to hang on. Fairfield not going away. (17-13) Lady Bulldogs with the lead here in set number 3. Fairfield has got it within 4. They have the ball. Trying to cut back into this Carmi lead. Sutton gets it over. Roark jumps in front of Serafini. Now Brzezinski to Simmons. That one hit the net. Robbins able to get it back over. It's a great play there by Emerson Robbins. Thought Carmi had him dead to rights. And Fairfield definitely has momentum right now. Carmi needs a big play. 17-14. Sutton serves it over. Elliott up in the air. Brzezinski wants to go to Simmons. Caroline taps it. Saved by Sutton. Hit over by Edwards. Now it's Ryder out of bounds. Simmons couldn't go get it at that point. 2-point game, 17-15. Corey Sutton, the junior, gets it over. Elliott up in the air. Brzezinski comes near side to Simmons. Blocked at the net. In! Point Carmi. And a big one of that. Makes it 18-15. Lauren Brzezinski now to serve. Gets it over. Best up in the air. Edwards, far side. Robbins met by Smith. In or out? They're going to say out. Point to Fairfield. The sophomore Smith met her right there. Robbins tried to tap it, and Smith couldn't find the sideline. 18-16. Edwards serves it over. Smith back into the field of play to Brzezinski. Now Simmons. Back to Sutton. Edwards backwards to Robbins. Right to Brzezinski playing the back row. Smith comes near side to Simmons. Point Carmi. Believe they called a net violation against Fairfield. So the point goes to the Lady Bulldogs. The lead is 3 at 19-16. And Caroline Simmons is serving. Sutton digs it, out of bounds. Carmi is 5 points away. Dug by Ellis. Edwards wants Robbins in the middle. In. Point Fairfield, it's 20-17. If you're Carmi, obviously it's important. Can't let Fairfield make a run here. You've got a 3-point lead. You want to get it back. Newman. Serafini. Now it's Brzezinski, back to Serafini. Mara finds the corner! 21-17 Carmi. What a play by the senior, Mara Serafini. And Carmi leads by 4, and they're 4 points away. Paige Jackson will serve it. Jackson gets it over, Ellis. Edwards, far side. And Turner was able to get that over. Serafini on the other side. That one tipped. Edwards up in the air. Now it's Best. Robbins gets it over. Smith. Brzezinski. Serafini blocked at the net. Point Fairfield. And it's 21-18. Robbins back to serve. That's really where you want her if you're Carmi. Keep her away from the front row. She'll still do damage back there, but not to the near extent as when she's up front. Brzezinski to Serafini, tipped up by Edwards. Now it's Ellis. Robbins gets it over. Brzezinski, Smith, Serafini, found it! 22-18, Carmi 3 points away. Addie Elliott to serve. The sophomore gets it over. Ellis tips it on the ground. Edwards, Robbins from the back row. Simmons able to dig it. Now it's Brzezinski to Serafini. Blocked at the net. Fairfield couldn't get it over. 23-18. Kill goes to Mara Serafini. Another for the senior. She is not ready to start basketball practice yet. Elliott gets it over. Robbins from the back row. Over. That was Atwood. Now it's Simmons. Brzezinski to Serafini. Tipped up front. Atwood up in the air. Edwards leaves it for Robbins, and she'll get the kill. 23-19. (23-19), a 4-point Carmi lead. Best serves it over. Elliott up in the air. Brzezinski setting up Rager. Ashland tips it. Ellis able to save it. Edwards hits the net. She hits the net, and Carmi leads by 5. It's 24-19. They're 1 point away. Here we go. 24-19. Mara Serafini will serve. Carmi fans on their feet. Ellis sets it up. It's Best. Roberts from the back row. Hit by Roark. Now it's Brzezinski. Simmons hits Ellis. Now it's Best. Far side Atwood. Serafini. Brzezinski. Caroline Simmons. Hit into the net. Up in the air. They get it over. Brzezinski again to Caroline Simmons. Tipped. Robbins. Now it's Ellis. They get it over. Rager up in the air. Brzezinski can't find the spot. They're never going to let this one end. Robbins, saved by Elliott. Brzezinski, Simmons, ends it! Carmi White County has done it! The Lady Bulldogs are sectional champs for the first time in school history! Do you believe it? Unbelievable! The students storm the court. It's never happened in Carmi White County history. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just witnessed the greatest team in Lady Bulldog volleyball history take down the Giants. They defeat the Lady Mules, and they are heading to Robinson on Friday night. Unbelievable. After how that first set went, who would have imagined that Carmi was able to turn things around and defeat the Lady Mules? They fell in the first set 25-17, take the second and third both by scores 25-19. Mara Serafini, the lone senior, gets the plaque, and the Lady Bulldogs are moving on. Not a dry eye from anybody wearing maroon and white. Unbelievable. Carmi will move on to the Robinson Super Sectional on Friday. They were either going to play Bismarck Henning or Champaign Thomas More. I'll try to find a score from that momentarily. Unbelievable. Carmi pulls the upset, takes down a top 10 team in all of 2A. And they are sectional champions for the first time in school history. Unbelievable. Unreal. Great turnout by the student section, the Carmi faithful. No question, that was a big factor in that spark in the second set that began the run that was Carmi having enough to win this one. Unbelievable. We'll step aside for a short break. When we come back, we'll wrap things up and hopefully have a chat with Chris Lucas. We'll keep the camera turned on here, but I'll step aside for a quick break. The Lady Bulldogs are sectional champions. Carmi White County sectional champions. They defeat Fairfield in 3 sets, 17-25, 25-19, 25-19. 2 heartbreaking losses to the Lady Mules during the regular season. With the way this one started after the first set, It was looking like it was going to be a third, but the way this team was able to turn this one around, unbelievable. As the team now taking their photo, as you can see. As we're waiting for Chris Lucas to make his way through the paparazzi. He'll hopefully make it up here eventually, no hurry. Enjoy this moment, savor it. And the 350 plus who have watched it with us here have witnessed the biggest win in Carmi White County volleyball history. As you see the fans who make their way now to get into the picture. You know, on the flip side of this, you can't say enough about Chet Snyder and the Lady Mules. They finished their season 35-4. They won the Black Diamond Conference. And such an incredible team with such an incredible player, of course, in Emerson Robbins, who's going to be playing college ball at Utah State next season. Great turnout by the Carmi fans and the student section. They brought a fan bus over tonight, driven by the principal, Bart King, and they made their presence felt. There's no question. You know, Carmi definitely was not fully awake when this game started. The first set, they trailed by 10 early. And you could tell towards the end of the first set, they had started to finally get their rhythm, but at that point it was too little too late. But the way they completely turned things around in sets 2 and 3 shows a lot about these kids and a lot about this team and how they're able to overcome adversity, because they did that tonight for sure. But if you just watch that second and third set alone, just a totally different team than what was there in the first. As the celebration continues down on the floor, Mara Serafini extends her volleyball career by at least 2 more days. Again, Carmi will be in the Super Sectional on Friday in Robinson. And I'll look for a score between Bismarck Henning and Champaign St. Thomas More. Winner of that goes to the Final Four. And the fact that Carmi White County is a win away from going to the state finals in anything is unbelievable. Celebration continues on the floor as Carmi White County wins their first sectional in school history, taking down the almighty Fairfield Lady Mules in 3 sets, 17-25, 25-19, 25-19. We'll step aside one last time and try to catch Chris Lucas before we hit the road on what's going to be a night to remember for everybody wearing maroon and white. And Carmi White County brings home the Pinckneyville 2A sectional championship. They defeat Fairfield in 3 sets, 25-17. 17-25, 25-19, 25-19 as we wait for Chris Lucas to make his way through the paparazzi and hopefully make his way up here. As it's going to be a night to remember for him, but obviously Carmi, they're going to turn their attention to Friday, where they will play in the Super Sectional. And I'll try to scroll through Twitter and find a final score from that game between Bismarck Henning and Champaign St. Thomas More. I would imagine those matches are completed by now. Believe that will be a 6 o'clock start, though, and we do plan on traveling up to Robinson on Friday to bring you that ball game. Did get a text 3 minutes ago from our guy Toby Brown saying that Bismarck Henning and Champaign St. Thomas More are in the 3rd set. So whenever that one goes final, we'll know who Carmi will play Friday night for the Super Sectional. If they win that game, they move on to the state tournament, which, correct me if I'm wrong, will be in Normal up at Illinois State. As the celebration continues on the floor. Looking ahead past next week, or this weekend, and hopefully next week, Lady Bulldog basketball will begin on November 14th. Lady Bulldogs will be at home against Mount Carmel. That will be our first broadcast of the basketball season. And the boys will begin their season on the 21st when they travel to Gallatin County. Just got a final from Toby Brown. Champaign St. Thomas More has won the St. Joe Ogden sectional championship. So it will be Carmi and St. Thomas More playing in the Super Sectional Friday night in Robinson, I believe for a 6 o'clock first serve. Let me double check that. For those of you planning on either traveling or watching here on the WRUL Sports YouTube channel. I do want to clarify that. So 6 p.m. is going to be the first serve between Carmi and St. Thomas More on Friday in Robinson. And that will be the Super Sectional. So whoever wins that one moves on to the state finals, which, if I can pull that back up, I can tell you when that will be. So the Super Sectional Friday night. First round of the state semifinals will be the following Friday, the 10th, and it will be played at Illinois State University, Normal, Illinois, Redbird Arena. If Carmi was to win Friday, they would play either Chicago Latin or Immaculate Conception Catholic in the semifinals, the 10th at noon. As it looks like Chris Lucas is not going to be able to make it up here as he's got 1,000 people to congratulate and talk to down on the floor, and understandably so. So with that, we'll go ahead and sign off for the night. Again, Carmi White County wins their first sectional championship in school history, taking down Fairfield in 3 sets, 17-25, 25-19, 25-19. First time in CWCHS history that Carmi will play for a Super Sectional. They are 1 win away from going to the state finals. Big thanks to my wife, Whitney Carter, who took time out of her Wednesday evening to ride with me to Pinckneyville to run the camera for me tonight, so those of you at home could watch this incredible contest in a game that will go down in history. It's been fun, and I appreciate everyone who has tuned in tonight. Again, our next broadcast, Lady Bulldogs. Well, okay, I stand corrected. Chris Lucas is going to make his way up here, so we're not going to sign off yet. As Chris Lucas will make it up here and chat before we pack up and make the road trip back to Carmi. And final score, Lady Bulldogs win it in 3 sets. 17-25, 25-19, 25-19. Coach Lucas makes his way up here. Being joined by Chris Lucas. And Coach, I think the only word you can probably think about right now is wow.
Wow is right.
I mean, with the way that things were in that first set, they got up by 10 early. You guys can't really make the comeback. The way this game turned around in the second set and the way that we saw a different maroon and white team out there for the rest of that match, I can imagine how you're feeling right now.
I can't even put into words how I'm feeling right now. I've had to do a couple of interviews already, and I still hasn't sunk in yet. I mean, yeah, you come out and we just get dominated in the first set. But I told the girls we're like 22-10 or something like that, and I'm yelling out on the floor, you got to finish this set strong. I mean, momentum is everything in volleyball. Just you know, we're not winning this set. That's obvious. But you got to finish strong. And they come out and score, 7 or 8 of the last 10 points in that set, and we carried it into the second and third set, and that was huge for us to get. If we lose 25-10 that first set, I don't think I'm sitting here right now telling you how happy I am. So I mean, what a great effort, and these kids never quit. And I know it sounds cliche to say that, but we've got kids right now that even though we're a young team, they're varsity experienced, all of them, for 2 or 3 years, and so. I don't even know what to say right now. It's just an awesome win for our volleyball team, our community, our program. First sectional championship in school history, and got a huge one on Friday night. So.
Obviously, when you play Fairfield, number 9 is the first thing you're worried about. And in that first set, she was dominant. But I thought as the match went along, especially in the second and third set, you found a way to contain her at some point. Now, it's hard to do either if it's in the front or in the back, but I thought you were able to take her out of the match, essentially, which was a big part of you guys making that comeback.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And whenever you play Fairfield, you're never going to stop Emerson Robbins. You can limit damage at times, but you can't stop her. And so, but yeah, I mean, our block is so good. We are so big on the front line, and Tori Ryder stepped into a starting role, and she gave her fits, Emerson, in the last set especially. And so, and then you fall behind, and even D1 players, you start to tighten up a little bit. And again, she's tremendous, phenomenal, best player in Southern Illinois. But yeah, we really were able to contain her. We got finally in the third set, we got our defense in the right spots where they were supposed to be. And, she was hitting balls right to where we weren't in the first set. And, yeah, just an awesome job by our back row players, especially, of containing her in the second and third sets.
I thought Mara Serafini played a phenomenal game, and I'm sure she was going through her mind that she's not ready to start basketball practice yet. But talk about your senior and the way, obviously, her coming back this year on the team has meant so much to you and the girls. But for her to play that way tonight to keep your season alive, what's that mean to you?
Well, I mean, she's in tears down there, and I gave her the biggest hug I've probably ever given anybody in my life because she was huge. And some people who don't know volleyball don't understand a lot of the things that she does that keeps us in matches. And they're late in the third set, I said, we're going to you every time because we had a very small blocker against her on the outside. And I said, just hit it right off of her right hand, and you're going to get several kills. And she did, she did exactly what we asked her to do. And if you watch her defensively in the back row, she, especially when she's covering blocks and or covering tips and stuff, she just will not let the ball hit the ground. And Caroline is the same way in the back row. They are aggressive, fierce kids, and they're exactly what, when you think of a Carmi Bulldog, that's what you think of. You think of somebody like Mara Serafini, who gives her heart and soul to every single thing she does athletically in the classroom. And I'm just so happy for her because we got everybody else back next year. And so we're talking, a little bit about, the next couple seasons in practice. And then we look over at Mara, and she's just like, I got no more, And so she just willed us to win, basically. And so, yeah, we got a big one on Friday night. You got a quick turnaround and get ready to go. But I'm so happy that she's one of us, and she played awesome tonight.
So last question, I'll let you go celebrate with the team, but when you took over a few years ago, did you ever think you would hear one win away from being in the state finals?
Honestly, no. I mean, I knew that we were going to be good, and I knew that. But, you know, winning is an attitude, and we now have a culture and an attitude at Carmi of we can win these types of games now. We can play with anybody in Southern Illinois, and we proved it tonight. And now the biggest thing is there's no Breeze Central or Breeze Mater Day. We're either going to play Champaign St. Thomas More.
St. Thomas More won tonight.
Okay, so we're playing St. Thomas More, who who beat North City 2 years ago in the Super, and they moved up a class. But they're a team we've watched on film. They're a team we think we match up with really well. So I'm very, very excited to play that game. And one win away from the state tournament sounds absolutely crazy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Coach, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We'll talk to you on Friday.
All right, thank you.
That's Chris Lucas, Lady Bulldogs sectional champions. They take down Fairfield in 3 sets tonight. Just an incredible night for Carmi County sports, Lady Bulldog volleyball, all the above. Just an incredible night that I know I won't forget. Coach Lucas won't forget, and these girls, fans, parents, and those of you watching at home will never forget. So, again, a big thanks to my wife, Whitney Carter, for stepping up tonight, running the camera for us. We will be in Robinson on Friday when the Lady Bulldogs take on St. Thomas More in the Super Sectional, as the Lady Bulldogs are 1 win away from going to the state finals in Normal next weekend. Thank you to everyone who tuned in tonight. For Cole Carter, I'm signing off. Have a great night, Bulldog fans.